Inspired by Haitian folklore, the modern zombie emerged in pop culture in 1968 with George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. In case you are unaware of the film, it follows 7 people who become trapped in a farmhouse which is under assault by a horde of zombies. Night of the Living Dead is a must-watch for everyone who watches horror movies and should almost serve as a rite of passage in becoming a horror fan. Releasing on October 1st, 1968, it grossed $12 million domestically and $18 million internationally, earning more than 250 times its budget and becoming one of the most profitable film productions ever made at that time. Not only did the film introduce an antagonist monster to fear, but it revolutionized the horror genre filmmaking and steering horror in a direction where it was not afraid to address social issues plaguing society. To date, there is somewhere between 700 and 1,000 zombie films that have been made, and that can be a bit time-consuming in trying to find some hidden gems. So here are 5 zombie films to celebrate the 55th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead that you may not have,
or probably,
heard of.
Number 5. Cemetery Man, aka De la Mort de la Mort. May be considered by many as one of the greatest zombie films of all time, yet is also one that most casual horror fans have either never heard of or never watched. It's been nearly 30 years since this quirky horror gem came out and is consistently found on many best zombie film lists. It's a completely different type of zombie film than you will normally find. The story is a mixed bag of many different genres wrapped into one surreal film. The film can be horrific, comedic, or romantic at times. Sometimes it can be a mixture of the three, or it can be a complete blend of all at once. The imagery and style have the feel of Sam Raimi mixed with some Dario Argento. In this film, Rupert Everett stars as Francesco Della Morte, who is a caretaker at a cemetery where the dead tend to come back to life. Della Morte and his friend, sidekick, hunt them down. During this time, Della Morte falls in love with the widow, and like all mid-90s stylish, surreal, black comedy Italian horror zombie flicks, things don't always go as planned. The movie is definitely out there while also being a shining bright spot during a time when horror was pretty barren of quality films.
Stop killing the dead.
Number 4.
Zombie is sometimes referred to as an unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead, though it's not related at all. When Dawn of the Dead was released in Italy, it was called Zombie. So, when Fulci's classic was released, the studio renamed the movie Zombie 2. While this may be well known by horror fans, it's amazing to see how unknown this Italian classic actually is with the casual horror fans.
By the hour. There's chaos in the streets. The National Guard cannot control the situation. In every borough of the city, from Brooklyn to Manhattan, from Harlem to Queens, the zombies are taking over.
You will see this played quite often at horror festivals in double or triple features. We know that this has been played at multiple drive-ins over years, and not surprisingly was the first film shown on the most recent season of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. This film really pushes the gore factor with one of the most iconic eye-popping kill scenes in the zombie genre. Also, it's notorious for a fight scene between a zombie and a tiger shark. Fun fact, they used a real tiger shark in this scene.
Number 3. Rec, or record. When it comes to found footage films, that subgenre in the horror world is filled with a lot of duds. They're generally very cheap to produce and can easily be profitable. Rec is not only considered one of the greatest found footage films ever made, it is one of the best horror films to come out within the last 20 years. It spawned several sequels, as well as the American remake, Quarantine. The camera work, like in most found footage films, are from the point of view of the cameraman or woman. This is about a news reporter and her cameraman who go on a call with their local fire station and find themselves in a nightmare they're trapped in and are desperate to find their way out. This Spanish film takes the found footage genre and mixes it with the zombie genre, but turns up the feel of dread with not knowing what may be in the dark with them, as well as the feeling of being trapped and claustrophobic. While many people may tend to avoid foreign language films, this is one where it's easy to follow while keeping you on the edge of your seat with fear and excitement. Number 2.
Versus, in the 1990s and 2000s, Japan became a hotbed of new horror films. Many of these films were supernatural in nature and obtained worldwide success, not just in Japan, but throughout the world. In the middle of all these new horror classics being made, there was a low-budget horror action film that pitted the Yakuza against zombies. If that didn't already reel you in, let's add some martial arts action sequences just to help raise the already over-the-top style this film went for. You're not going into this movie for the plot. What you get is a load of violent action, gunfights, sword slashing, martial arts, and zombies. The visuals and the style of this 2000 Japanese cult classic is one that you truly need to check out.
Number 1.
Mr. West. You'll never get credit for my discovery. Who's going to believe a talking head? Get a job in a sideshow.
With several films to choose from, we felt it was time to lighten it up a bit with some campy fun in the 1980s classic Re-Animator. Jeffrey Combs is Herbert West, who is trying to reanimate the dead through his experiments. Not only is he successful, but the results do get out of hand, fall into the wrong hands, along with a lot more body parts getting involved as well. This is quite possibly one of the best film adaptations of H.P. Lovecraft's work and helps solidify Jeffrey Combs as an icon in the horror genre. Barbara Crampton, another legend of the horror genre, stars in this film directed by legendary horror director Stuart Gordon. This has the perfect mixture of horror, gore, campy fun, along with a pretty blatant ripoff of the classic Psycho theme music that plays perfectly with the film. This would not be the last time Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, and Stuart Gordon would work together, as Combs and Crampton starred together on future film adaptations of Lovecraft's work that include From Beyond, 1986, and Castle Freak, 1995, which were both directed by Stuart Gordon.
Now, before I get into the film that I'm most excited to talk about, Re-Animator, we're going to talk about some other films, but I just had to show this off because it's one of my favorite pieces in the collection, and if you didn't go and check out the Crips episode where we toured the collection, maybe you want to go and do that. So I'm going to put this down on the side now. If you want the Re-Animator box, though, check out Nightmares Unlimited. They're also responsible for the real Freddy Krueger gloves that I have. No, this is not sponsored by them. They're just great people. They make great stuff.
It's also signed by Jeffrey Combs.
Yes, it is. I'm gonna
You're gonna
not
stop
fanboy out.
I was gonna say, you're gonna stop fanboying now?
Yep, I'm not gonna fanboy out. We're gonna move on with this list, and we're gonna start with Wreck. I love that movie. I think I love it more than you, and it kind of forced you into watching it because, honestly, and we talked about this when we reviewed it for 31 Days of Halloween in the previous year, or the year before that, it's terrifying. It's probably one of the best found footage films that are ever made because it pulls you in, and it makes you feel like you're right a part of all the action that's going down. It's like an immersive video game when you're going through the movie. It's just terrifying. And the fact that it's not really zombies at play here, and it could be something else, and it could be something that happens in real life that makes it even more terrifying.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing about it is that it's not really what you think it is at all. It's definitely something different, and it is something that could happen in real life, and yeah, so that makes it even freakier. Anything that can happen in real life, I'm like, yeah, no.
Now, the second part of the film, which is equally as good, it kind of takes it more on a supernatural ride, but that first one is just purely amazing. Now, Cemetery Man is one that you actually can hold over my head with bragging rights because you watched it and I haven't watched it. And you really liked it, and we never actually went back and rewatched it.
No, it was one that I got stuck watching by myself.
Yes, this was a long time ago.
Oh, don't make excuses.
Long time ago. A decade plus long time ago. But you really liked that film. I sort of was getting into it, and then I was just out. I worked 2 jobs at the time, folks.
He always has an excuse.
Working
he worked
2
2
jobs.
jobs. He has ADHD.
6 a.m. to midnight is not an excuse. 5 days a week.
No, because then you shouldn't be putting movies on and being like, yeah, babe, let's watch this. And then you're snoring.
This is why we have the rating on one of our shows where some movies are really good to take a nap to, because some of them really are. You get your best sleep during certain movies.
But I liked that movie.
So I hope to see this or have seen this by the time this comes out.
And I will have to give it a rewatch with him because I did watch it a really long time ago, so I definitely could use a refresher.
Zombie is one that we haven't watched, and this is a list, in case you all are wondering. It is by our writer, Brian Avrich, who will be submitting some lists, so welcome to the team officially. Thank you for submitting the list. Zombie, I've seen many clips on it. Looks like a great film. Some of the special effects and the gore effects on it are pretty amazing too.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah, you gotta watch more YouTube. That brings us to Versus,
You
which...
probably need to watch less YouTube.
No. So Versus is probably a film you're going to like after watching Ichi the Killer, and you like that movie. This movie is crazy and over the top on the lines of Ichi the Killer, and it has some zaniness and quirkiness to it. Very good film to watch. We own it.
Do we?
Yes.
Okay, then. We own a lot of movies that I don't even know we own, and we own some movies multiple times because someone forgets that we bought them.
I gave those away. Anyway, I think you said that's like over 3,000 movies in the collection, but we're moving on to what I want to talk about now, and that is Re-Animator. I love this film, and it actually, when I worked at Blockbuster with a few other people, Brian Avrich being one of those people, we had another Brian that we worked at, and he used to quiz people saying, "You're not a true horror fan unless you've seen Re-Animator." Well, you know what? I don't really like to do that and say, hey, you're not a true horror fan if you haven't seen this or that or like this, because there's different flavors of horror out there.
Yeah.
But Re-Animator is just so good. It's a horror comedy. It delivers on gore. Some of the gore is really good. Some of it's a little lame, but that's fine. That's what you kind of expect from this film. I think this is actually even perfect to pair up with The Evil Dead.
Well, it is. It's campy fun. That's, so you are going to get some of that stuff that's like, what the hell did they just do? But you're meant to.
There's 2 more parts in this franchise. I wish they would have made the 4th one, which was the House of Re-Animator, where Jeffrey Combs goes to the White House, which he really needs to still go there. Or
Why?
Dr. Herbert West.
Are we reanimating dead presidents? I don't think we want to do that again.
Some of our last few presidents have been dead presidents, I would say.
Yeah.
But everybody needs a little Dr. Herbert West in the office there, helping lead things along. He's a lot more normal than what we see in politicians. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So, The Re-Animator, excellent film. Bride of Re-Animator is very good as well. And then there is Beyond Re-Animator, which is a bigger budget. And some of the effects in that one, wow, very good. So, what hidden zombie movies would you put on this list? Let us know by dropping it in the comments. And let Brian know what you think of his list as well. Since he's a new writer, he's going to be helping us out with some top 5s. And don't forget, there's a couple important things that you need to do.
Like, comments, share. share, and subscribe.
Yes, please do that. Not going to mention that it helps us, even though it does. And it is the end of 35 days of Halloween.
35?
Oh, it is the end of 35. Wow.
I'm like, wow, you gave the month extra days?
I did.
And October's already one of the longer months.
I'm going to leave this one in too. So it is the end of 31 days of Halloween on the Pop 5. Thank you for joining us for our different types of Pop 5 lists that we're going to kind of continue to do. We're going to modify, reshape it, and give you something a little bit different on the Pop 5 and all the other content that you got to check out on the channel. So, until the next,
See ya.